Welcome to Fraser Mac Gaming, I'm Fraser Mac. This is my latest video all about the monthly releases coming to Switch in September. There's a lot of AAA experiences we can all look forward to, and there's so many games I've had to split my releases video into two parts. If you want to check out all the indie games releasing in September, look in the top right now, there'll be a card there that you can click on. But which AAA experiences can you look forward to, which amazing experiences from Nintendo are on the horizon, and which games are going under the radar? Stay tuned, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's get into the games. Starting September 3rd, a huge classic game is arriving on Switch from Square Enix, and it's Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. Now, they've been releasing a lot of games on the Switch, some new IPs, really fantastic support from Square Enix for the system, but they've also been bringing out a host of their Final Fantasy games and other classic releases. So yes, the PlayStation Classic hit, Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, which is the one that obviously everyone was wondering where it was. Square Enix had announced a number of other titles, but they seem to have jumped 8 for some reason. There's a huge following for these games, and they really are absolute classics. People have been crying out for Final Fantasy VIII for a while since they started doing the re-releases. Final Fantasy VIII Remastered has some improvements. Obviously graphically they're going to touch the game up, but there's some battle assist options that can help you improve. You can actually speed boost through the games. You can play scenes at 3 times, so you can actually move along faster through the story because it is a huge title. And there's no random encounters anymore, so that might be something that people approve of, it might be something they don't approve of. September 3rd, Final Fantasy VIII Remastered releases on Switch. Unfortunately, they have said it's going to be digital only, so those various sites with physical listings have jumped the gun. It's due to be £16 in the UK. There's no information yet on the US, but that roughly equates to around $20. Releasing September 3rd is the Spyro Reignited trilogy, so it's competing directly with Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, and for me, there's only one winner, and yes, it's a little purple dragon with horns. I'm really excited for Spyro Reignited trilogy. I grew up in the 90s where platformers and kind of collectathons, 3D open world adventures just kind of appeared and started to take off in that kind of PlayStation era, and I just love games like this. It's so colourful, but I didn't get to own it first time around. It's the same with Crash. I only got to play them sparingly, maybe at friends' houses or saw them, on TV. I didn't actually get to own them because I just couldn't buy enough games. But Spyro Reignited trilogy, it's finally coming to Switch. We've had to wait a while. Obviously it came out in November and other platforms, but there's still no confirmation of whether it's going to be complete on cart. All 3 games will be on there or not, but it's going to be £35 in the UK and $40 in the US. Up next is the first game coming from Nintendo in September, and it's Daemon X Machina. It's releasing September 13th, and it looks like it could be a game that falls a little bit by the wayside in the West at least. It's had a huge push in Japan, and I think it looks really popular over there. I think mechs are a huge thing in Japan. I think they appeal in the West, but Daemon X Machina I thought got the E3 show in 2018 off to a massive start. I loved the music, I loved the impact, I like action games, there's lots of shooting. It just looked cool. I thought, great idea, it's a new IP. I always liked Nintendo being involved in new things. They're obviously involved with it alongside Marvelous Entertainment. It had a demo. Obviously they wanted feedback. I think they knew development wasn't going as well as planned, but they've announced a host of improvements. Being able to improve how you lock on, how you actually see the health bars of bosses, where you see that the enemies are firing from, how you actually scavenge equipment on the ground and in the air. So they've tried to improve a lot of quality of life things, a lot of elements about the gameplay actually, so it's more enjoyable and easier to play through. Obviously gyro wasn't in the demo, it has been added in. I think it was obviously in the development plan, but they're just showing off obviously that it is there now. Weapon reloading has been made easier. Unfortunately, I think in the West they seem to be trying to make a sort of marketing push around the idea that the game isn't as bad as you thought it was, which is never a great place. But Daemon X Machina, I like the idea of it. It looks very cool. It releases September 13th. It's a full retail price game, so it's going to be around £45 or $60. Physical copies in the UK from base.com are under £40, and there are other competitive prices as well if you look around. Moving on to something completely different, it just shows the variety available on Switch, and on September 17th, the LEGO Jurassic World is releasing. Yes, it's released on previous systems, on the Wii U, 3DS and other platforms years ago, but LEGO Jurassic World is finally coming to Switch. It features 4 games, so 4 films from the original Jurassic Park series and also Jurassic World, so lots of action, lots of interesting stories, and it's going to have the cheeky humour you usually expect in all the LEGO games, so there'll be some fun and laughter. There's obviously lots of destruction you can actually take part in. You can actually play as 20 different dinosaurs and just go on a rampage, so that sounds like a lot of fun. there's usually a lot of like collectathon type gameplay in terms of these games, so there's usually a lot of fetch quests and different interesting things and little cutscenes, so it looks fun. I think obviously I'd like to pick this one up. I don't really have an excuse of having a kid to play it with, but it does look fun. It's coming out of Switch. It's going to be around £35 on the eShop and $40 in the US, and then it's only £28 for physical in the UK. The huge game for Nintendo and for the Switch in general for September, and potentially for one of the biggest games of the year, is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. So it had a few people guessing what was going on at the start of this trailer during E3. I obviously didn't twig. I didn't play Link's Awakening first time around, but real classic Zelda fans were, probably enthralled as soon as they started to see the boots and the green. And obviously this art style has been controversial, but I really like the way they've gone with the kind of almost 3D top-down Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. I think it looks fantastic. I think it's really interesting. I've obviously not explored Koholint Island before. I'm really excited to play this because I've been getting back into like things like Little Dew and lots of things like Oceanhorn, like kind of the top-down Zelda experiences that have been inspired by these games. So I'm really looking forward to playing it. I think it, like I said, it looks so charming. I'm sure the music will be fantastic. It's obviously stayed true to a lot of original elements and characters and design layouts, but there's a lot of added features as well, because you can actually unlock elements that you can create your own dungeons with and challenge your friends with, and I'm sure there's going to be other parts added in. You can also have some in-game mini-games and some other features by tapping a Legend of Zelda character amiibo, so that's fun, because amiibos, I don't really know what the point of them is for the Switch most of the time, but there's some interesting elements there. I'm sure there's going to be some surprises when we actually start getting to the games, and the people who know them well will really be able to know what new features have been added. It's a really exciting game. There's some fantastic physical edition. Obviously, the limited edition in Europe with the limited steel book and an art book, it looks fantastic. I managed to order one. I had one cancelled by base.com, unfortunately, but then I've got one from somewhere else. There's a Dreamer edition in the US, obviously with the art book, but they're all a little bit jealous of the European one at the moment. Obviously, this is a full retail release. It's going to be $60 in the US. It's going to be around £45 in the UK, and you can shop around a little bit if you're lucky. Also releasing September 20th, and Bandai Namco have their hands full because they got to follow up and compete with Link's Awakening, but Ninokuni and the Wrath of the White Witch is releasing September 20th on Switch. It's coming to other platforms and it's getting a remastered version, I believe, on other platforms, but it's the PS3 version coming to Switch. There must be some sort of quality of life improvements, some general improvements. Ninokuni, it's not a series I'm that familiar with, but obviously it's a very kind of typical JRPG. I believe it'll be very turn-based. It looks glorious. I mean, it looks like a storybook come to life, so it really does look charming and fantastic. You get to join Oliver on a magical quest with his companion, his trusty friend Drippy, so that sounds interesting. And Ninokuni, it looks great. It looks like something I really do want to try out. I've actually got it on the PS3, so I should probably try it on there, but playing it on the Switch, I'd actually probably get through it more because I can play it handheld and whenever I want. But it is a full retail release, I believe, in the US. It's actually $50, so slightly cheaper than your major AAA games from Nintendo, but it's around £40 in the UK. This could struggle in the West on Switch. I hope it does well. It does look fantastic, and I really do like to see more games coming to Switch all the time, and hopefully we'll get more of the Ninokuni series in the future. Another game releasing from Nintendo in the month of September, and it is September 20th as well, is Tetris 99. So Ninokuni really does have some competition. Yes, Tetris 99, it released back in February this year as part of a Nintendo Direct. It was part of the Switch Online, kind of adding a little bit of extras. It was free to play on there. Obviously, if you've got Switch Online, it still is, but they are bringing a physical release. So again, it's 99 players all playing against each other on Tetris, so the classic gameplay, what you're used to, but they have added some elements. You can get some skins through playing in competitions, etc. I've not played it myself, I've avoided it, but it was a huge deal. Everyone got addicted to it. It was trending, it was massive. It continues to grow and grow, but they're obviously releasing physical copies September 20th. So in the UK, you can actually get them for around £22 if you shop around, but it's $30 in the US. And what you actually get as well, you get 12 months Nintendo Switch Online membership when you buy the physical copy. So you get quite a good deal there because that's around £20 for the year anyway. So it's a great game. I believe there are some added extras and some skins you can get when you get the physical copy. So it is available online, but if you're going to renew your online membership and you fancy picking up it just on a physical collection to add to that collection, it might be worth picking up. Recently, Konami have been doing a lot of good things, maybe not great things, but better things. They've been releasing their old classic franchises and collections, and gamers have been really enjoying, really getting into the nostalgia and enjoying those old games again. And obviously, what follows on from that, new games and classic franchises. And unfortunately, Konami have decided to release this ugly, nausea-inducing, disgusting excuse for a game. But Contra Road Core, unfortunately, it almost makes me feel sick looking at it. I love the idea that Contra's getting a new game. 3D, you know, I'm not even fussed it's 3D. If they did it well, I'd really like it. This looks like an ugly mess. It looks like a disaster waiting to happen. It releases September 24th, but I'm staying a long, long way away from this unless there's a huge turnaround and reviews show that they've improved the graphical style immensely and the game is actually any good. I really worry about this. It's £40 in the UK and it's $40 in the US. I think if they'd just gone down the route of 2D, more modern graphics, some more modern elements, you know, bigger games, make it more adaptable, more accessible, it could be successful. I think this has gone completely off at the wrong angle and it's going to really, really put off fans for quite a long time. Another game that was announced at E3 as part of Nintendo's Direct is Dead by Daylight. So it is an online multiplayer survival horror game where you can actually play as the survivors or actually as the killers from your favourite horror films. So yeah, it's 1v4, which means obviously 5 players in total, but essentially one player plays as the killer, and in the Switch version I believe there's a choice of 10 killers, and they have to hunt down and maim and feed these people to the entity. So 4 people can work together or be very selfish and run off and try and hide by themselves and survive. It looks interesting. It looks like there's a lot of content, a lot of killers you can play as, and franchises people who like horror films would be really interested in. But graphically it looks a little bit old generation. It looks a little bit PS3. The reviews are okay. They're not outstanding, but they're not poor. But it has got quite a strong following on PC. It's obviously been out for around 3 years now. There's been multiple DLCs with various popular characters, and the latest announcements came just recently, just this week, that actually Stranger Things is going to come to Dead by Daylight. So you can actually play as the Demogorgon, or you can actually play as Steve or Nancy, and you'll actually be able to play in the Hawkins laboratory. It releases September 24th on Switch. It's £35 in the UK, $40 in the US, and as always, physical releases can be a little bit cheaper if you shop around. That leads us on to the last game on the list for September, but it is a huge game to finish the month with. Dragon Quest Heroes XIS Echoes of an Elusive Age releases September 27th, and I think this is the one that's really going to expand the Dragon Quest series in a huge audience in the West. It's a beloved series in Japan, but now obviously it had a demo last week and Nintendo are helping out with the publishing of the game. I think this is going to really, really break it into a huge audience. I've had a lot of fun with it. It's a real classic JRPG. It's got a huge expansive story. The Switch version's got options of HD graphics you saw that were fantastic, and those 2D graphics. There's lots and lots of hours of gameplay to be found. Obviously it's about 100 hours, but there's mini quests, there's different cities to explore. You can go and explore different islands. You'll meet lots of other characters. You can actually get to join your band of adventurers. It is a full retail release, so it's going to be $60 in the US. It's going to be around £40-45 in the UK. There is a demo available on the eShop, so you can actually check out the first 10 hours or so of gameplay and check out if it's something you're interested in and try it before you buy it. So those are my top 10 releases for the month of September on Switch, the biggest AAA experiences that will be coming out in the coming weeks. So I hope you found something in there that you like. Please leave some comments down below about the games you're excited for, anything you'll be picking up. If there's any games I've not included in the list, please let me know. You know, I'm always looking out for new games, and some of it might just be down to my preferences, but I'm always interested in to chat about games with other people who are big fans of the Switch. And like I said, obviously I've got an indie releases video that's separate to this, so go check that one out as well. There are heavy rumours about a Nintendo Direct looming in September, so any kind of games could get announced and suddenly shadow drop, so who knows what will come out, but I'm really excited to find out down the line. And if this is your first time, please hit that subscribe button, ton of notifications, and check out all my content. That's all we've got time for, but I'll see you on the next video.